What's up, guys? I just got back from Hobby Lobby and I did get some chunky yarn. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chunky bucket hat and also a cardigan. And we're going to add some little flowers on, so that'll be really cute. I do have 5 of these. 5, I think? 3? Okay, I have 6 green, a pink, and a white. So that's what we're going to use today. I'm not going to make a long cardigan, I don't think. I think I'm going to make like a little cropped cardigan. I don't know if I have enough yarn, or if I have too much yarn, I don't know. This is all an experiment to me, but I am going to walk you through the process. So let's get started. All right, to get started, you are going to need a big space, whether you're doing it on the floor or at a big table. Definitely get yourself a big clean space to start. Now I will be starting with we're gonna make the back panel first. So you are going to get your yarn out here. Now the ends of this, is it Chanel yarn? Is that how you say it? This fluffy, big, chunky yarn, it does like to shed sometimes. So what I like to do before I get started is make a little knot on the end of the yarn. At the very end here. And you could, like if you leave a little tail, you could take your scissors and just cut it close. But it's not that noticeable. I do like to do that though, so it doesn't unravel at all. So for the back of the cardigan, we are going to, how we normally would, let's leave like just a little tail. We're going to make a slip knot. Okay. So we have a slip knot how we normally would with crocheting. And I am super picky, so I am just gonna make sure like I'm not twisting. I'm doing it the same direction every single time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oops, and 12. Okay, 12. All right, so I am going to add 2 more here, giving me a total of 14 stitches or 14 chains for my foundation chain. And this is going to give me a large cardigan. It would look a little oversized, as you can see on the mannequin. So you're keeping your yarn up top, and then you're starting from one side of your chain. You see how this loop, we're just bringing this up only about an inch now. Then you're going to go here, right here, take this yarn from the back and pull it up. So now you have 2 loops. You're going to try to make these loops the same throughout the cardigan because you don't want it to be uneven. Go to the 3rd one, pull up another loop. Super easy. Okay, you'll do the same thing going all the way down this row and literally for the rest of the cardigan basically. So, okay, we'll do this slow. See another loop here. You're gonna just work the cardigan, pulling up loops. And you'll get faster as it starts to really, you know, you see your work building. Just make sure you're not missing a loop. Super important. So we started with, I think, 14. We're gonna make sure that you have 14 little loops here, you know, by the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Okay. Just pulling it up. Put your finger in, grab the yarn, pull it up. That's the easiest way, I would say. So you go to the next one, put your finger in, grab the yarn, pull it up. Finger in, grab the yarn, pull it up. Finger in, grab the yarn, pull it up. Okay, and then there's one last loop here, which is kind of hidden here. Finger in, grab the yarn. Oh, this is a little tight. Okay, and pull it up. So there we are. Okay. We have, and let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Should be the same amount of loops as you did your chains down on the foundation row. So now once you get to the end here, you are just going to again take the working yarn and pull it up through for the next row. Same thing that you did below. And you're just gonna keep doing this back and forth. Make sure after every row, you go ahead back and count to make sure you didn't miss any loops, and you should have the same amount throughout the entire cardigan, okay? So you wanna make sure, like for mine, I'm gonna be counting to make sure I have 14 every time I move up. So I'll be back when we're done. Right, guys, so just make sure when you do that foundation chain, make sure you're doing it really neat. Make sure you're doing it all the same way, because you do want the bottom or the top of your sweater to look neat. You don't want it to be flopping this way, flopping that way. You want it to have a nice neat braid. You know, this yarn is not cheap, so you want to make sure that you put, you know, the effort into making it as perfect as can be, and just keep going up, 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 and until you reach the desired length. Now keep in mind, this is the back panel. So if you want to make it long, you'll make it long. You want to make it cropped, make it cropped. I think the look that I'm going to go for today is a cropped look, but feel free if you want to make it longer, just keep going with it. Now you will need more yarn for that, but like I said, I'm not exactly sure how much. I'm going to try to pay attention to how much I'm using, because next time I probably will want to do a long cardigan. I do think I want to make one at some point this season, but just for the sake of not having to buy so much yarn, I am going to do a cropped one. And I am fighting with this yarn here because this part here just seemed to be kind of loose. But all right, we're getting past that. Just keep going and you will start to see that it's a knitted look. The further you go up, you'll be able to see the pattern of what you're making. All right, just keep going with it. Once you get to the end of the row, go ahead and knit up and over, keep going. And remember, don't make the loops too big up here or you're gonna have a bunch of holes in your cardigan, unless you're going for that look. But me, I do want a tighter knit look because it stretches. So I want it to be tight. All right, I will be back when we get a little bit further. Hey guys, I've gotten pretty far here. I decided I'm gonna go until I get to the end of the yarn, which should be long enough for my cropped cardigan, which might not be super cropped, but you know, it's going to be on the shorter side, and I'm okay with that. I did just put this measurement up to my back, and it came down about halfway or so from my shoulders, so I definitely do want to go down a little bit more. Now if you're comfortable with you know, you don't want to use up all your yarn, you can stop and make it as short as you want, but I am gonna keep going till I get to the end of this yarn. So yeah, it's working up really nice. I love how it's looking already, and it's gonna be super cute. So keep on going, and yeah, just make sure you're counting your rows still, not skipping any loops, and just so you can see, this is how the side of mine looks, because I'm going up one. Once I get to that end piece, I'm not just starting to go back on a second one, I am, you know, looping this one here. So that's how it should look on the side, and when you turn it around to the back, that's what it should look like on the back. So hopefully you're following along, and we will start on the front panels next, and then we'll start working on the sleeves. All right guys, I think this is long enough. I did not end up using all of that ball of yarn, but I did want to show you for the last row, you kind of want to make sure that your loops are a little bit bigger this time, because this is your last row and you're going to be fastening off. So not super big, but bigger than you've been making them for, you know, the tightness of the sweater. So I am kind of making them how I did that foundation chain, maybe not even as big, but they are noticeably bigger than my last row of loops. You also don't want to make it, you know, if this wasn't oversized, like you don't want it to be tight. And if you have those loops so little, when you're fastening off, it's going to end up tight around the shoulders. You don't want that, or even around the waist or wherever. You just don't want it to be tight. So when you're fastening off, you definitely make that last row a little bit looser there. And I did tie a knot here at the end of my yarn, but we are going to start from this side now. So my end of my yarn is over here, but I'm starting over here to close it up. So I'm going to take this yarn and literally loop it around this one next to it, taking this one, looping it around that one next to it, and we're just doing that down the whole row. Grabbing the yarn that it's next to, you see how my fingers are, grabbing it and pulling it through. Grabbing it, pulling it through. Grabbing it, pulling it through. And if you notice, it's definitely getting a little bit tight there. So just make sure it's not too tight. Grab it, pull it through. 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 So that is how it should be. And then once you get here, you take the yarn that's left and you pull it through this hole here, and you tie it snug, which you're going to want to do a couple times. Okay. Gonna want to take this loop and put it through again. Okay, so that don't come loose. And then you're going to take this tail and you're going to weave it in to your work. So I'm gonna go back here with it. Gonna go inside here with it and just kind of hide it in the work here. You don't want that to show, and it does have a little knot on the end there, so it'll get stuck in there. Okay, so there's that. There's that panel. For our sleeves, we're gonna leave a long tail so we can, you know, sew it all together. But I just wanted to show you that piece. And this is actually what we ended with. That's gonna be the bottom of the cardigan. Where we started, that's gonna be the shoulder, the top of the shoulder. So our front panels should come in. Remember, you're gonna want a space for your neck, which is gonna be about what? We're gonna leave about 3 or 4, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have the 4 in the middle. We're gonna leave 4 in the middle, and our panels are gonna be 5 wide. I'm gonna make 2 panels that are 5 wide, and how many rows did we do? Did I say 18? Let's see. It's hard to count on this side. Okay. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We did 18. So they're going to be 5 wide, 18 down. And then once we have that, we're going to attach them. We're going to attach them at the top and at the side, our panels, leaving an armhole so we can go ahead and make the sleeves. All right, so let's get started on one of the panels. I'm going to grab another green. If you want to switch up your colors, go for it. It is your project. I'm just giving you the base information, okay? I highly encourage you to make it however you would like. Okay, so we're gonna start off again using the same kind of tension. So, and remember, we're leaving a long tail for this one because we are gonna sew that in. So let's leave a long tail, then make our slip knot, okay? With our working yarn, we're gonna do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So then we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then we're going to go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And you're just going to keep doing this until you reach 18. 3, 4, 5. Remember that we are maintaining this even kind of tension, and I'll be back once we make 2 of them. All right, coming up on the last row here, you do want to make sure, like I said before, that you make this one a little bit looser. than you had been during the working rounds, because we're going to be fastening off with these loops. Okay. And you also want to make sure that everything is aligning. So you'll take your back panel that I have here, and you're going to make sure that it aligns. Should be just as tall as the back panel. Okay. Okay. So we have all of our loops here. A little bit bigger than what we were working with. I need to get my scissors, but whatever. I'm gonna tie a little knot here. I always tie knots with this yarn, so I'm gonna go ahead and loop it around, loop it around, loop it around to fasten off. You should have a nice looking little braid there. Take your working yarn, pull it through, and we're gonna do that again. And when we pull it back through this time, make a little knot. Okay, so that's one panel done, and we're gonna do another one. All right, now I have both of my panels laying on top of my back panel. Now, you wanna make sure that the right side of the yarn is showing. So you don't want this side to be on the outside. You want that to be on the inside. So check your back, make sure your back is correct. Make sure that the front panels are correct before you start attaching the yarn to the back panel, to the front panels to the back panel, sorry. So we're gonna attach at the shoulder. We're gonna leave space for the armhole. I'm gonna leave a pretty big armhole because that's the look that I'm going for. Only gonna attach this a very short amount here, probably from here down, and then I'm gonna sew this from, this whole thing shut, and then that much of the bottom. So the way that I do that, super easy. Just going to take my tail that I have here, and I'm going to make sure it's nice and even. Gonna go into the back panel, top loop, into this loop here, and through the back loop on the back panel. So I'm just attaching, just with like a, I don't know if you want to call it a loop stitch. I don't know the technical words for all this stuff, but that's what we're doing. We're just making sure it looks nice and neat. It's aligned. We're going through the front and then through the back. And we're pulling through. Make sure you don't break your yarn when you're doing this. Some of this yarn is, more heavy duty than others. And then this last one will go through both of them. And pull gently. Once you have that nice and connected, you're just going to take your working yarn and fasten off. We're going to go through a loop, making a knot, go through that same loop, and pull it through, making another knot. And I'm not gonna cut this off. Well, maybe I will. I'll weave it in. Gonna weave this in. Don't want to cut it just in case like that would, for whatever reason, come unraveled. But I'm just gonna leave that there for now. Gonna come down here to the bottom panel and the same thing. We're going to align it, take our tail, go through a back loop, go through the front loop. This one's a little shorter than the one up top, which you don't need that much to fasten off. So let's see, go through a back loop and go through a front panel loop, back panel, front panel. We're just attaching. That's all we're doing. Nothing too crazy. Going through both the front and the back. I'm gonna leave a pretty wide armhole, because like I said, I'm going for an oversized look. So this is about, maybe I'll close it up one more here. Let's see. Just like this. That's about as big as the armhole I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna take my tail and tie it. Now I don't have a lot of yarn that I'm working with down here. Just be careful not to snap your yarn. And once you have it tied around a couple of times and tie into that knot, and then you just tuck it in. Tuck it in, tuck it in, and I do have a little knot on the bottom of that yarn, so it won't come loose. Now, for this one, since I made it so long, I think what I'm gonna do is break my yarn, still leaving a little tail, make my knot, and I'm gonna weave this one through just as best as I can to hide it. See, you can hardly tell. Like, this yarn is very easy to hide because it is so fluffy and chunky. So we're just gonna weave it in, go through these back loops, hide it. Okay, we just don't want it to come loose. And then we're gonna start on our sleeves. This is what it looks like at the top, what it looks like on the side. Okay, do that on both sides. All right, now we have our panels sewed on. We have our armholes the same size, and we tucked in any loose yarn. We're gonna go ahead and make our sleeves now. You will need a lighter to connect your yarn for whenever you run out and you need to connect more. I use a lighter to basically melt the pieces together. So make sure you have that. You're gonna start with your new roll of yarn, Skein, whatever you want to call it. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your yarn, and starting from the inside under here, like the underarm, I'm not gonna make a slip stitch, but we are going to fasten this at the end with a knot. But for now, we're just going to loop it, leaving a tail, and push through right here, the very under, like where the armpit would be. I'm gonna pull a loop through. We're gonna tuck in our short string inside of the sweater, and we're going to do a total for this one, it's 14 around, but if you have a smaller one or a larger one, you're just going to want to make sure you make even loops going around. Make sure you count how many you're doing, because you're going to want to do the same amount of loops on each side. So I have 1, 2, 3, and make sure you're going on the very outside loop. So don't go too far in, do it on the outside here. This one's a little tight. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. I like to plan out, like, you know, how far I'm spacing them just to give myself an idea. 5. It's kind of spaced out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 should be here. 5, 6, and 14. Okay. 14 loops there, all evenly the correct size. And what you do now is you just keep pulling your loops. So, and I do want to say we made some decreases. I'll show you exactly how to do that once we get there. I made decreases in row 11, 14, 16, and 23. So I will get back here. You're just gonna pull them exactly how we did the sweater, but you're going in the round now. And remember, the little short tail should be on the inside of the sweater. We're gonna weave that in, make sure it's secure once we're all finished. So I will be back at row 11 so I can show you how to decrease. Okay, now when you get to the 11th row, then you're going to decrease. And to do that, we'll do it at the bottom of the armpit and at the top of the sleeve. We'll go through not 1 loop, but 2. So put 1, 2, and push your yarn through both loops. And you're decreasing the stitch. And you'll continue on going up to the top as you normally would. Oh, Ozzy, back up. Back up, Ozzy. Okay. Oh, back up, baby. All right. And then you get to the top, you got 1, 2, push your yarn through both of them and just keep going. So we'll do that. This is the 11th row. We'll do it again on the 14th row, 16th row, and the 23rd row to get the same results as the other sleeve. Okay, I'm at the end of my row. And I made my loops a little bit bigger than I normally would have, so I can fasten off. So I'm gonna take my loop, put it over this one, and then put this one over that one, this one over this one. Just exactly how we did the fasten off for the other panels, but we're going in a circle. And then I'm gonna take what I have left here and go through the last loop here. And I'm going to actually take this loop, put it through here, and then put it back through here. See, so I can make that look pretty. And we're gonna take this, make a little knot. And then weave it in through our sleeve. Just like this. Weave it in, hide it. And there we go. Okay. That is how it should look. Both sleeves should be the same. If you're unsure what row you're on, just count. You can also match up your sleeves to one another just to make sure that everything's aligning, which, there we go. I didn't weave this in for the other sleeve, so I'm gonna go ahead and weave this in now. And for this piece that we didn't weave in for the underarm for when we started the sleeve, you do want to go back in and weave it. Definitely weave it, just to make sure you're hiding it. All right, and you can go down here with it. You just want to make sure it's hidden and it's not going to come loose. All right, there's one more thing I wanted to do for my cardigan, and it was make some flowers to attach to my cardigan with the chunky yarn. So I'm going to make a slip knot. Gonna make it pretty tight here because I don't want them to be super big, but I'm gonna chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let me see, yeah, 6. Going to go ahead and cut my yarn or pull my yarn. I still have not got my scissors, guys, but okay. I have 6 chains here. Gonna go ahead and take this piece of my tail and loop it through here. Pull this tight. And we're gonna see. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna make this loop tighter first. So we're doing pretty small loops for the flower. Gonna pull through this here and just going to go ahead and tie both of these tails together. Okay. And I'm actually gonna use my scissors to cut that. But then I'm gonna take another color of yarn, and I have white here. And I'm just gonna make a knot and then another knot. This one's gonna tie tighter. So we have 2 knots, and then I'm gonna go through one of the loops of my pink petals and take the other piece and go through the other side. So we have the white in the middle of the pink petals, and trim the tails of the pink yarn off. Then you're going to take your white yarn and attach it. Let me see, is this the front? Okay, you're going to go through your sleeve or wherever you want the flower on your piece, whether you want it on a blanket or wherever you're pulling the yarn through like this. And I'm gonna go through the top because it'll be easier for me. Oh my, okay. So chunky. So we're gonna just make double knots here to make sure that it's secure. And then you'll trim your ends. And that's how you get a flower on your cardigan. And again, I'm gonna trim these pieces off, but let's wrap it around to see how it looks. Okay, look, so cute, so cute. I'm gonna put a bunch of these all over, and I'm also gonna make a hat to match. So push that in, or you can pull it out. I don't know, make it look however you want. It's gonna lay flatter than that because I'm gonna get rid of this. I might just weave it in. I'm being really lazy and not getting my scissors. Let's see. Pull it and then I'll weave it in. Okay. there it is. That is my flower that I made. And I'm gonna make a bunch of these just to put them all over. I'll show you the end result. And here you have the finished cardigan with the flowers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.